Good morning, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the 10 greatest benefits of stopping drinking alcohol, and today we're talking about short-term gains. So those gains that you'll have within the first month or two. You know, if I could take you out to that 30-day, 60-day mark and show you these things, you know, help you to feel these things, to look at these things from the inside out, it would be very easy then for me to convince you that alcohol wasn't a good thing in your life. So let's start. First thing, sleep. I think it's one of the first things that many people think about when they're contemplating stopping drinking. You know, either they've gone through this journey before and they've had problems with sleeping before, whatever it is. I think usually within 30 days you have better sleep. You know, certainly was the case for me. I had difficulty in the beginning. So, like I said, I think everybody has difficulty in the beginning. I would fall asleep for a few minutes and then wake up, and, you know, maybe half an hour, wake up again. And I wasn't really getting deep sleep. I wasn't really getting into that circadian rhythm and getting any of that REM sleep. And I think the deeper sleep you can get, the better it is for you, you know. So, I think it's the key to a good day. The following day is to have a good rest. And, you know, going back to the alcohol stuff, you just don't realize how much alcohol is taking away from you in terms of your REM sleep and that deeper sleep. And it makes a huge difference to you. So, you know, it might take a bit of work to get to the stage where you're sleeping well. You know, a lot of what you're doing, a lot of how you sleep depends on what you do before you go to bed. So, you know, getting into a good bedtime routine. And of course, getting a good sleep means that you wake up refreshed and ready for the next day. Right. Number 2 is no more hangovers. And I don't think you need me to tell you how much the alcohol, how much a hangover is going to ruin your day. So how much the hangover, the more you drink, the more of a hangover you're going to have, and how much that is going to, or has the possibility of ruining your day. And the older you get, the worse those hangovers are going to get. You know, some of my hangovers were lasting for 2, 3, 4 days, depending on how much I felt. When I'm talking about 4 days, I'm talking about 4 days before I felt normal. And when I'm talking about normal, I'm talking about my normal as a drinker, not my normal now. And think about all the time and the energy that you're wasting in recovering, in getting back to that normal sense of yourself, right? You know, getting things done, being able to plan, being able to execute is just a huge part of this journey for me now. You know, not having a hangover in my life anymore. You know, just to be able to get up and say to myself, tomorrow I'm going to do whatever it is that I'm going to do, and get up in the morning and do that, you know. Whether it doesn't get done because of something else, then that's a different thing, but it's not going to not get done because I was drinking the night before. And I think over time, the hangovers, the drinking, but the hangovers themselves specifically, are a real killer for self-esteem, right? And this is all, you know, it's self-inflicted. So when you're sat there feeling sorry for yourself within that hangover state, you know that what you've done to yourself, right? So like I said, if I could take you out to 60 days, 30 days even, and show you how every day you wake up not feeling like crap, going through the day having much more energy, having much more time on your hands, being able to better use that time, I think you will see that that is one of the biggest benefits, one of the greatest benefits of being sober, of not having alcohol in your system, I should say, not having this poison in your system. The next one is mental clarity. You know, we're talking about no more hangovers, no more alcohol in your life, no more brain rot, as I used to call it. You know, I don't know what it was that whenever you drink something, so many brain cells are killed. I mean, I don't know whether that's true or not. doesn't make any difference whether it's true. You know as well as I do that when you drink alcohol, that it affects how you think, affects how you behave, it affects how you function in life. And when you think about that, it's not just in the moment that it affects how you function, but it's an accumulative thing. So one day adds on to the next and the next and the next, and you're not getting anything done, and your brain is slowly seeping into this fog. It's one of the things that most people report when they stop drinking fairly shortly after they stop drinking, is that they can feel the fog lifting. And they can feel this fog lifting that they never knew was there, right? Because you become so adapted to it. You become so used to it. So getting better sleep, wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, having deeper thinking, having better thoughts. You've got better results because you're thinking better and you've got more time and energy on your hands. It only took me a few days in this sense to feel better, even though I wasn't getting at that stage good sleeps. I still felt more energy. I felt invigorated. I felt like I could think clearer, right? I knew this was going to happen because I'd stopped for 10 months a few years previously, so I knew what to expect from that perspective. Isn't that way better for you than waking up every day saying to yourself, oh, no more, I'm not going to do this anymore, having the pain of the hangover, and then once the hangover wears off, you feel good again and you're back to the same old, that cumulative waking up every day. And like I said earlier on, the cumulative toxicity in your brain where you've got that fog build up and you don't know it's happening. It's the same thing the other way around, except it happens quicker because your body wants to function well. Your brain wants to function well. So it goes into that cycle fairly quickly. To have that cumulative waking up every day with a clear head, you're thinking good thoughts, you're able to use that train of thoughts to take you places that you wouldn't otherwise have been, because when you have a purpose in life, when you're trying to head towards consistent positive outcomes in your life, that means that you have to have connections. You have to have the connections of what I do tomorrow is going to depend on what I do today. What I do next week is going to depend on what I do this week. And if you've got something like alcohol that is getting in the way of that, then that's stopping you from doing a lot of things in life. The next thing is energy, and that's connected to the brain clarity. Same thing, right? No more alcohol, no more hangovers. You've got better sleep, so you wake up feeling refreshed. For me, since I stopped drinking alcohol, the two currencies that are first and foremost in my mind are time and energy, right? I've got more time on my hands. I've got more time to spend doing the things that I want to spend doing. And I've got more energy to do that. My body is not burning energy on useless recovery. Day in and day out, over and over and over again, right? I'm not spending that time on that. So not wasting time on drinking, not wasting time on overcoming the alcohol. So, energy is one of those things that, like time, that you don't get back. That's it, it's gone. Now, if you want to get a video every day, uncensored videos, lots of related topics to what we're talking about today, lots of helpful tips and ideas about stopping drinking alcohol, what to do afterwards, anything that you want answered, all your questions answered, a private place where you can comment, come to Unplug 365. The price of a cup of coffee, the link is in the description down below. Next one is weight loss. This is not going to affect everybody. Some people need to put on a bit of weight. I've known people who were heavy drinkers who were as skinny as a beanpole, and they needed to put on weight. But for a lot of people, they need to lose weight. A lot of the people that I talk with. Now, my weight loss journey in the first year was maybe 60 pounds lost, and probably 20 in the first few weeks. So it was very easy to drop the pounds. I had more energy on my hands. I had more time on my hands. I was exercising more, and I wasn't shoving all these empty calories into my brain. So I was much more active. All the bullshit alcohol calories are gone. All the bullshit calories from everything else is also gone, right? Think about all the stuff that you eat because you drink. You know, I would drink in a pub often, and then go from the pub into the takeaway and eat junk food. And the next day I would eat junk food because I was hungover, right? So, and this is a cycle that you get into. You get used to eating junk food. So when you've got that mental clarity, you're thinking clearer, and with a clearer mind, you're making better choices, and better choices, especially about your nutrition. You've got better values that you're working against, right? So you're able to think clearly about, well, if I put this into my body, then this is going to make me feel shit. You know, once you stop drinking alcohol into the long term, then really your body becomes much more sensitive, because you haven't got that alcohol dulling your system anymore. So your body becomes much more sensitive to the other things that you put into your body. So you start to feel junk food more. You start to feel the effects of junk food more, and you start to feel the effects of eating well again. Look up behind me now. This is, if you can see that, it's fairly misty at the top of the mountains. I love it up here. The fresh air, I wish you could smell it. It's just, very valuable. So you just make better choices nutritionally. It's easier to follow through. It's easier to think about things. It's easier to plan things. It's easier to feel how a certain food is affecting you, and to correct the results as you're moving along. So it is what it is, all around. All right, next on the list is more money. You know, this is one of the more... The next thing on the list is more money. You know, this is one of the more obvious ones. There's the savings that you make because you're not spending money on alcohol anymore, and that's is a huge thing. With these two fellows running around after each other like lunatics, the fresh air and the mountain breeze. So there's those. Then there's the not so obvious savings. Like I was saying, I used to spend so much money on junk food, just buying the worst food, you know, takeaways and then taxis going home, and then hangover cures, all that kind of stuff. So there's that. The thing for me which made the most difference was because my brain was clearer, because I have more time on my hands, because I have more energy, because I can use that time and energy better. I'm earning more money. I'm more productive, right? And it's that earning more money that really makes your bank manager like you much more, because you're putting more money in there, right? Ka-ching! It is what it is. You know, it's not good to talk about money. I don't really, it's not the massive biggest benefit for me, right? But it's one that really, really does help me. You know, when you want to do things, when you want to go on more vacations, when you want to do more with your spare time, you're just spending that money in a wiser way that is putting memories into your memory bank that you are going to save forever, and you're not ruining that memory bank with alcohol, right? And the next one for me is emotions, just feeling good emotionally, having more positive emotions. And you really don't understand while you're drinking, you don't realize how much your emotions are affected by the alcohol, by the life of the drinker, by not only by the fact that you're drinking, but by all the things that you're doing because you're a drinker, and all the things that you're not doing because you're a drinker. I think all alcohol drinking is an emotional thing from the beginning. You know, we start drinking often because of peer pressure, which is an emotional thing. We drink to relax, to socialize, to whatever it is, to celebrate. These are all emotions, and your alcohol becomes linked to your emotions. So alcohol becomes linked to good emotions. So you need alcohol to feel good, you know, to lift yourself up. If you go out for a night out, it's almost impossible to feel good if everyone else is drinking and you're not, because all your friends are drinkers. And you use alcohol to push down negative emotions, right? Or to to make the emotions, the negative emotions less shallow than they otherwise would be. So when you stop drinking alcohol, and this all depends on the work that you're going to do afterwards, right? If you do nothing else, I think having no alcohol in your system is going to improve your emotions anyway. But, the more work you do on yourself, the more deeper dives you take within your own psyche, the better your emotion, the better emotionally you will feel, right? Less stress, less anxiety, more money. More money equals less stress and less anxiety. It's what I was saying to you about before. It's not the money that I care about, but it's the fact that I don't have to worry about certain things that you have to worry about if you don't have money. When I was drinking, it was just, we were shit poor, We had a moped between the two of us, and it wasn't getting any better when I was drinking. So it was one of the reasons underneath, one of the big conflicts that I had underneath. And, when you stop drinking, you take that clarity of mind and you turn that into a better ways of dealing with your emotions. Clarity leads to easier thinking, which leads to less phantom emotions. And when I'm talking about phantom emotions, are emotions that are created within your mind, within the stories that you're telling yourself, right? Clarity leads to you've been able to think through these things. And contentment is not about no negative emotions. Contentment is about dealing with your emotions as they come up, right? Dealing with your emotions before they come up, right? Which leads to a bigger impact overall, right? Which leads to more positive emotions, which leads to you better being able to deal with life. And when you're better able to deal with life, you are automatically going to get more positive emotions, more feeling good, more contentment overall. And then there's feeling good physically, right? No more poisoning going into your body, right? You've got better sleep. You're sleeping better, you've got more time, more energy, you feel better about yourself the next day. You just feel good. You're more capable of, we call this the vigorous cycle within Habits V2, and it's to do with one thing feeds into another. So when you're able to exercise better, you're clearing your mind up to think better. When you're able to think better, you're able to you have more energy, you have more time to go out and exercise. When you exercise, you're able to you're much more inclined to eat better. You're much more inclined to make better decisions based on a clearer mind, right? Based on a clearer life, based on, you're thinking better. You've got less recovery time. Your blood pressure drops, your immune system strengthens, your systems overall, your general systems start working better. If I could take you out to that 30 or 60 day mark and show you just how good you are going to feel physically, my job would be done. I wouldn't have to convince you of anything. And then the next one is just good experiences of not drinking. The hardest thing for me to do is to show you that. Like I said, that 30 days, taking you out to that 30 days or the 60 days. And it's not getting the experience of not having, it's not just the experience of not having alcohol in your system for 30 or 60 days. That's not the point. It's having no alcohol in your system for 30 or 60 days with the intentions of never drinking alcohol again. It's a different way of looking at things. You get people who stop drinking alcohol for 30 days, but at the end of the 30 days, they're going to go back onto it. So they never get into the mind experience of living with themselves as a person who is never going to drink again. Realizing things about better sleep, better mental clarity, better communications, which lead to better relationships, right? How much better do you feel in yourself after 30 or 60 days? How much easier to get up in the morning, to think, to get things done, to plan, to follow through, to follow through with all your plans that you're making, to lift the worry from your shoulders, to lift that burden that you've been carrying around, that this is something that you've done to yourself, to feel that extra money in your pocket, or to look at the figures in your bank account and watch them going up, to get confidence in just saying no, right? To start believing that it's possible to live without alcohol. All this is vital experience. Like I said, if I could take you out to that 30 days, 60 days, and show you how that feels, wow. It's just such a different way of looking at things. And like I said, if you don't get any of these things, how many people go through a 30-day stop? They go through that dry experience and they know at the end of 30 days they're going back to alcohol, and they feel all these things of, especially with the sleep and the health and the clarity and all those external things, or they're the kind of things that you don't have to go too deep for, right? They feel that as a vital experience. They still go back to alcohol. You know, they'll say things like, "Oh, I feel great. I feel so good on this journey. I feel so good without the alcohol. I can't wait to go to the pub on Saturday night." And I've left this one till last, and that's health. And I think health is the most obvious one. You know, people, even though they don't like to admit it to themselves, that drinking alcohol, no matter how much they're drinking, is an unhealthy thing to do. Stopping drinking alcohol is the most healthiest thing you can do. Even if you're smoking, I think, because it leads you to just different, it leads you to a different pathway where, you know, when you stop smoking alcohol, you're making physical changes to yourself. You're making a difference on a physical level, but when you stop drinking, you're making a difference on a physical level and a mental health level. You know, where the alcohol goes, where the alcohol flows, the damage goes. So not one part of your body is untouched. You know, people focus on the liver, but it's the brain, the heart, the kidneys, the lungs, the glands, the blood, the muscles, the bones. Everything is damaged by drinking. Everything. And everything is improved by stopping drinking alcohol. Again, take you out to 30 days, 60 days and show you these improvements, and you will see it. You know, if people could wear their organs on the outside, if they could see inside their body and see the damage that alcohol is causing to the liver and their kidneys and their stomach and even their lungs, they would think twice about drinking. And then there's the mental health aspect of this. You know, this is something that I truly believe that you can't live without this. I mean, you can live with physical health, with damage to your physical health, but I think with damage to your mental health, you're doing a lot more disservice to yourself, right? You know, think about a life without enjoyment, a life without, we believe that alcohol is something that we can't live without. Right? That we can't enjoy life without alcohol, that we can't relax without alcohol, that there is no pleasure without alcohol, no socializing, no celebrations. You know, all of these things need alcohol. And that's all to do with the propaganda, not only from the alcohol companies themselves, but from our friends, from our families. Now, they don't mean to do this, but that's what they've done. You know, all the good things in life have become attached to alcohol. You know, and after 30 or 60 days, you start seeing through the cracks. You start seeing that you can have fun, that you can relax. It takes a bit of work, it takes a bit of lateral thinking to do these things, but it's possible. Plus, you've got no more damaging of the brain, right? Alcohol, once it gets into your brain, is influencing every decision that you make, right? Let's go back to that mental clarity again. Every decision that you make. And it's not only influencing the decisions that you make in the moment, but in the long term. You know, every decision. Always in the background, alcohol is there. It's narrowing your perception of yourself. Narrowing your perception of life. It's almost like you're heading down a dead end and you've no way out of it. You know, when you're drinking, if you carry on drinking, that is a dead end. There's no way of looking around that. Just trying to watch the boys and where they are. That mental freedom that you get when you stop drinking alcohol is well worth the price of any discomfort that you take. And as you can see, you know, these are many, many benefits that come from, you know, I could go on and on and on about the the different benefits. I think we did a video once of where I did 10 minutes and I came up with 39 versions. I can't remember exactly. Look, that's it for today. I hope you got something out of that video. It was a bit long, a bit rambly, but it is what it is. Don't forget, if you want daily videos about all topics related to stopping drinking, along with the audios of the videos and a private place to have your say, come to Unplug 365. The links are in the description. If you want to join us on our full program, you can take any one of our levels at a $1 7-day trial. So in the next video, we're going to look at some of the long-term benefits. I think the short-term stuff is good, but wait till you hear about some of the stuff that happens after a year, I think, of not drinking alcohol. That's going to blow your mind. So look out for that one. I'll be putting up a post next week asking for suggestions. We've already got some. Thanks for everyone for leaving their suggestions. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourself, and I'll speak to you soon. Onwards and upwards. Bye now.